Hi, J.R. Lewis with you here on KLAM and KCDV. It is April the 3rd, 2020, and it's time now for our latest Mayor's Briefing, a program that, unless it has to be preempted by, for example, today when the mayor had to go to a special meeting, which altered the early part of our schedule. But normally 1 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8 p.m. on both of our stations here. So let's get right to it and get the latest from Mayor Copeland. Mayor Copeland, it's been a busy day, but we are glad to finally be able to visit with you. You've got a lot of things on your plate, so let's just get right into it. What do you want to let people know in today's briefing?
Yeah, if you can call 24 hours a day, then it's been a busy day. And I think one of the big pieces is testing. And just a little bit about testing is so critical for identifying someone who's infected and contagious, and for tracking the path and the exposures. It's just really the most effective tool. And unfortunately, it's one of the biggest gaps. We just don't have one single, easy, quick test to say with any high, perfect level of reliability that somebody is or isn't infected. So that's a challenge, and it's why we called an emergency meeting today with the City Council to look at a test that can tell you part of the answer. And we're going to continue looking at those tests. The state ordered some. We may be able to get some through the state, but these are the antibody tests. And that's consumed a big portion of the day. And I just wanted to share with the public that is something that we're working on and interested in, and that we do have some limited access to, and that will give us another tool to help. So we do have the seafood processor plans are coming in. We're going to be looking at those very carefully. A lot of effort and care has been put into those by processors who are very concerned with the health and welfare of their own employees and of the community, and no one wants to be part of infection. Nobody wants to cause it, and we'll be having our medical staff review those very carefully and make sure that we are comfortable that we're collectively doing all we can to prioritize the community's health while being cognizant of our livelihoods.
Sure. Well, and when you say processor plans now, these are the plans to where the processors are required to be educating their people, be dealing with quarantine and avoiding having their facilities become hotspots or transmission points, right?
Absolutely. And these are plans that the state's requiring. They're plans that the city's also requiring, and the city will accept a state-approved plan, but it has to be signed off that they will abide by that plan in Cordova. And if we see gaps, we have the leeway to make sure that we fill those gaps so that we're comfortable with the plan for the community.
Okay. So what else is on the list?
Well, I've also been in conversations with the governor's office, several different elements, following through on priorities from our medical industry on state resources that we feel need to be in place, especially on the planning and commitment side for if we have a community outbreak and or if we have a outbreak of those coming to the community, that we have our own resources and the state resources and support to take care of all those that are in the community for the summer. And I've also talked with the governor's office at high levels on fisheries management and ways that we might be able to manage the fishery creatively to further mitigate health risks to the community. And they're hypotheticals, but I want to put those hypotheticals on the table 2 or 3 weeks before we need them, so the state can be thinking through what they would need to do legally or what they can support us with if we ask for it. So those were good calls. Also have been in correspondence with Coast Guard Admiral out of Juneau and our own Native Village of EAC's director on just kind of a quick recap on NBE's side to make sure that our healthcare professionals are working well as a team, and also sharing the resources that are coming both to the tribe and the city through the Federal CARES Act, and just getting up to speed there. So just want to let the community know that there's a lot of good constructive collaboration and communication going on behind the scenes. And also with the Coast Guard Admiral, and that's real critical. We have a lot of Coast Guard assets here locally with our air station and our helicopter and our local crews for everything ranging from support and enforcement and medical staff to medical transport, and also, you know, the ability to support C-130 traffic in and out of the community in an emergency. So really great opportunities there to plan and collaborate for the summer.
Okay.
And so finally, I just want to really extend a shout out to, again, our planning community, the citizens themselves who are submitting questions and concerns that we can consider and fold into our planning processes, and especially the community members that are making masks.
Mm.
A little bird told me that at the statewide level, we might, as the CDC and others recognize the effectiveness of masks in preventing the spread of infection, that we may be seeing something from the state on, a statewide consideration for masks. So for those that are making those locally, I want to thank you for those. Those may come into need here very quickly. And Quilters Guild and others who might be interested in making masks, I know there's templates on YouTube and so forth, and just thank the community for that. So
yeah. What about the Fisheries Task Force real quick? How's that coming along?
Well, yeah, Fisheries Task Force. So we're having weekly meetings with the processors and statewide task forces, but there's the local considerations of just harbor management, the fishing fleets themselves, the citizens. So we have a task force being built there, and the city manager's putting that together, and that's going to be a much more local forum where we can feed up and address community concerns and make sure that we're not missing opportunities to put protective measures in place at the local level.
Well, great. I'll look forward to hearing, as you and I continue to chat each weekday. I would assume you'll be able to, once everything's vetted, of course, what they're working on, and we'll be able to let people know about the progress there too. This behind-the-scenes work is obviously very comprehensive, but people don't get to see it on a day-to-day basis. So that's why I'm glad we get to chat. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, that's all. And so far we're still pushing information out. We are going to try to adapt technology to try to make some of this a little more interactive and move more towards live Q&A or get a little more public participation. But we really appreciate your service in this venue and opportunity, and thank you very much.
Well, we're glad to do it. Okay, thank you. Sure appreciate it.
You bet.
You've been listening to the April 3rd, 2020 Mayor's Briefing on the COVID-19 situation in Cordova. These programs are regularly scheduled for weekdays, 1 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8 p.m., and also archived on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Cordova TV. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.